Hello, yo, welcome to the channel. It's Rad from Radko Tarot. And in this whole video, we're going to look into Aries Sun, Moon, and as well, of course, Aries Rising. A weekly general tarot reading for February 1st up until February 7th, 2021. And should you be interested in a personal reading with me or into my tarot classes, you can check the description down below, and there you're going to see a link to my website where you can pretty much review and purchase both of those things. So with that being said, guys, moving into Aries reading here, the first card that we do have for you, Aries, I have them upside down. So the first card that we do have for you for that week is going to be the High Priestess. Can you see the card? Well, yeah, okay. So the High Priestess, followed by the Lovers. Wow, okay. So moving next, we do have the Hangman. Afterwards, that is to be the Four of Swords. And the last one we do have for you, we have the Eight of Cups. So those 5 cards. And that will be quite of a ride that we have here. So with the High Priestess, you are starting the week here in a couple of states. That depends on what you are going through. But with this card, one of the way how you are going to enter into the week, it is that you are to be convinced into something very much, knowing that, you know, that's the right thing for you to do in general, okay? You will not going to be able to explain why. It's not going to make even sense to you as well, why you have to do that, or why you want to go at some places, or why you are talking with somebody, for example. But it just is going to feel that that is what you are supposed to do. And with that being said, you should not try to strain away from it, because with the High Priestess, the High Priestess strives to fulfill not the needs, but the essentials of what one's soul or their spiritual level lacks. So whatever you do feel drag or pull into at the start of this week, it's definitely a thing that you need to experience, especially if everybody around you tells you that you should not do it or you should not pay attention to it, and so on and so forth. Because the High Priestess, it's a card pointing that you gotta move through the experience, through the endeavor, if you will, using silence, meaning that you should not consider anybody's voice around, but rather being dragged through your inner wisdom, inner guidance, inner voice of yourself. Of course, the High Priestess as well predisposes for rather very stable start of the week for you. Your career is going to be into place, your romantic life is going to be as well unchecked, unscathed, if I may say it that way. Very potent times for people that are in relationships. This is the time where you start kind of like feeling each other on a level of souls. Some people may say that that's the soulmate type of relationship. I really hate that word. I would say that it's kind of like you are feeling each other in a much more profound and deep level than before. These of you guys which are without a partner in life, then that is this card for you at the start of the week kind of signifies the strive to bind yourself with such an individual, and therefore being willing to wait for as long as it takes to meet that individual. What I'm trying to say here for you single souls out there is that if you by that moment you have felt very lonely, at least at the start of this week, the loneliness is not going to be a problem for you. For you're gonna see and feel, you may not be able to explain it like I said, but you're gonna feel that this loneliness kind of makes sense. And right after that, we do have the Lovers card. So out of this strive that I talked about, that you are to accomplish the essential things of your soul, regardless if we're talking about career or relationship, The lovers here points that right after that, after you accomplish those essential things, there will be harmony into your life. Many of the concerns you do have, not that much of a concerns, more like a problems that are appearing, you know, trifles, predicaments, they are going to start pretty much resolving themselves on their own accord. They are not going to vanish, but they literally are going to start resolving themselves on their own accord. The lovers as well, it's associated with choice making, or rather like choice taking. And it will be a bit of a tough choice for you to make at that stage, because it will stand as like that. You have two options available. One of the option is what you have to do. The other option is what you want to do. And you may ask yourself, you know, why the lovers kind of signifies such a controversy choice. In reality, with this card, there is no right or wrong choice here. It's all about what you can face as a consequences. And the lesson of the card in regards to choices is to remind you that you can't have it all. I mean, at some point you have to settle for what you can get, and you can get either one thing or another, but not both. No different than having to choose in between two people that you are to jump into a relationship. No different that you may have to choose in between two jobs. You can't work in both of them, so you have to choose one of them, right? And the card, it's kind of like pointing, is marking a point where you, Aries, are going to, for one way or another, decide a major direction in your life, or a major thing about your life at almost at the beginning of this week. And whichever you decide is going to be, like I said, in harmony with your current state of life. So there will be no right nor a wrong decision. The only kind of like bad thing that you can do in regards to the Lovers card, guys, is not making a decision whatsoever, hoping that that decision is going to be made for you. And then we're talking about loss, but I'm explaining that into my tarot classes. Now let's touch a little bit in terms of relationships, okay? Because people get excited when it comes to the Lovers card in terms of relationship. Now the Lovers, it's a very potent card in either of the cases, either you are in a relationship or not. But it's while it's very positive when it comes to ongoing relationship that it is already established, it's just as much unpleasant when it comes to newly formed or just beginning type of relationship. And it kind of points that there are significant differences in between the two people that are in the relationship. And if you are just starting a relationship right now at the start of this week, or you are with kind of like dating with somebody that you are just yet kind of getting to know each other, be prepared to face kind of like some shocking arguments, or not arguments, but evidence, if you will, that you are not that much compatible as you may thought you were. And the whole thing here is, you know, can you bind with the perfectly matching opposite? You know, people usually look for somebody to be like them. Here with the Lovers is just on the contrary. The person you are dating or a person you are with, it's the opposite of what you are. And can the two perfectly matching opposites collide and form one whole? This is the challenge that the Lovers card addresses you with. And right after that, regardless if this decision is about a career or about relationship, are you going to do in your career what you want or what you have to, or are you going to choose in favor of allowing the opposites to combine, or being afraid of it and walk away? Then we move to the Hangman, and there is nothing much to be said about this card aside from that right after you make your choice, you will have to let it rest. Okay, it's no different than boiling a wine. You know, you boil the wine and then you have to let it rest so it can culminate on its own. And that is what we're talking here about, okay? That you make your choice and you let it develop on its own accord. instead of trying to forcing it through. Now, on a little bit of a different level with the hangman, that card pretty much points that if you are feeling stagnated, okay, throughout the week, and generally with a enterprises and endeavors that you are bringing from the previous week into this one, the hangman is a sign that at that point you are going to realize that you have done your part, really. Okay, you did everything you could, and at that point it's all in the hands of the universe, or somebody else needs to do their part as well. So trying to force it through again, it will be it will be quite futile, and it just is going to bring additional unnecessary stress in your life. So you can it's kind of like at that point you are going to be convinced, I may say it that way, that it's better to let it rest once again, and whenever the time boils up to, it's the things are going to resolve themselves on their own accord. And while you are resting, the different perspective upon things are going to start shaping in you as well, seeing the life of the world, if you will, your career, your relationship, from completely different angle, from completely different light. If I have to explain it in the card, the man is dangling on the tree, seeing the world upside down, therefore seeing a completely different world. So yeah, don't be surprised if at that stage, right after you make your decision, you do see your situations in a very different concept, in a very different perspective. That it will, how can I say, it will pretty much change your expectations overall. And right after that, we do have the Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords points that while you are waiting, you know, the results of your decisions here that you have made with the Lover's card boil up into, it's kind of like they manifest, or yeah, the results of your decisions kind of boil up to. The Four of Swords kind of points that you are going to start the word is not negotiating, more like a researching, you know, about the more, wow, that is so difficult to explain. You're going to start researching with the faithful companions of yours, people that you do really trust into, you know, what is the thing, or the things in plural, what makes your life worth its while, what makes your life substantial, and generally what is the thing that worth you developing it, moving forward. As well, with the Four of Swords, a lot of topics are going to be discussed in a very thorough way, a way that thus far never have been kind of like scrutinized into. And why I'm saying that, because you may scrutinize your relationship, why that relationship isn't working out. You may scrutinize as well your job, why you're not feeling, for example, fulfilled and successful in there, and so on and so forth. And through that scrutiny that you are going to put upon the aspects of your life that are very, very substantial to you, you are going to, for example, come clear with your emotions. If you are baffled about, you're going to come clear with a certain strategy that you are going to undertake in regards to problems that may be out there that are waiting for you to attend to them, because not every problem is going to be resolved on its own accord. You know, problems that concerns the decision you made, they are going to, but there will be exterior issues. You know, for example, if the decision is about your current relationship, the problems into the career, they are going to be still remaining, and that is your turn into the exterior here with the Four of Swords, where you start scrutinizing with faithful companions about what you can do in order to make your life easier, in order to make your life very, very peaceful. And it's highly likely that you are going to come up with the solution to that answer for every single field of your life. It's up to you though, are you going to execute it? And the very last card for you, and that is the finish here of how the week ends, that is to be the Eight of Cups. And at that point, it's more like making peace with what you can work with. Here, that you are scrutinizing at the Four of Swords. At some point, you know, in certain situations, you're going to see that you don't have much to work with, while you wish to have a lot to work with, and that you could have achieved better results if you do have much more resources on your disposal. But hey, one can dispose, or how can I say, rely on what they can get, right? But here with the Eight of Cups, it is just by the end of the week, it will be, you're going to be in such a state of mind and also of emotions. It actually reminds me of a colleague of mine when I was working for an English company. We had that project that wasn't really going on very well. There was some kind of part that was supposed to be brought from another country that needs to be assembled with the whole unit, and they were not there. The lorry didn't came about, and I was freaking out, right? I was freaking, what we are going to do, while my colleague was extremely calm. And I said, what do you think? I mean, why are you not freaking out? At some point I asked. He said, why would I? I mean, what can I do if I freak out, right? I will worry about it when I can do something about it. And that will be the mind state here, with your mind state with the Eight of Cups. That's, you know, if a situation is unfortunate or misfortunate and you can't do anything about it, instead of worrying about the situation, you're going to just leave it aside until the time comes that you can actually alter its outcome. And instead, you're going to turn your glance into other perspectives that you can do something about it at that given point. So that being said, Aries, this was your weekly general tarot reading, guys. Hopefully you do enjoyed it and you do liked it. And with that being said, we're going to see each other next time. Until then, bye.